All right, everybody. We are live on Facebook here. I'm with Greg Sheppard, good friend of mine. And you know what? It's just a pleasure to have him on. He's the owner of USA Home Listings based down there in Georgia. And he's been in the moving business for several years, over 25 years. He's an expert consultant, and he's got a lot of different hats that he wears, right? But expert on digital marketing, direct mail marketing, in-home sales performance. I mean, I could probably keep going, but I'm going to let Greg kind of do an intro, just chat, tell us about you, your business, and some of your experience. And then we're just going to kind of have a conversation. The goal today is just give some people some value. So Greg, thanks for jumping on today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Winston.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. This is fun. It's weird looking at yourself in the camera.
Yeah.
But anyway, I started as a mover back in '93 with Allied Van Lines, and was one of their top agents until 6 years later. Became an independent agent, had to get all my own leads. Independent salesman, actually, if you'd say that. Independent consultant, and I would generate all my own activity, or I would go broke. That was that simple.
Yeah.
I didn't check into an office to give me leads. I had to get my own, and I just developed. I guess I don't know. After 30 years of being in sales, you know, you get a little smarter when you get older. You get a little more gray. You get a little smarter as to why people interact with other people. And I always liked that. Sales wasn't really a job. It's just kind of like going out and having fun with people. And I looked at it that way. And USA Home Listings was just a byproduct of what I was doing.
Yeah.
But I love the other parts. I love the consulting part and helping movers particularly grow. But some of the things I've done over 20 some years with technology, actually the internet, I think I got on in 1993, almost the same year. I know that's when it first kind of came out.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back, but I think it was maybe late 92, but you know, back when you dialed up and it took forever and there was nothing out there. So funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've always been fascinated with the internet, how it can make an interaction between two people. And if they can do that, that's what sales and hence you'll increase your income. So that's it. I mean, I could go on forever. I won't bother you with the rest of it. So.
Well, and you know, I think it's so interesting. So Greg, you and I got connected, you know, a couple months ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, I will tell people, Greg has the X factor when it comes to dealing with people. Like when I'm talking to you, Greg, it's like you just make me smile. You've got that magnetic personality. And
that's scary.
I think, and I think that can be so valuable. We're going to talk about a couple different things, but let's start with direct mail marketing, because that, you know, your company is based around that.
Yeah.
You know, if there is let's say it's a moving company owner and they just got started in the last year or two,
right?
You know, tell them, you know, what is direct mail marketing in the moving industry today? Because, you know, there's some different nuances today. You know, you've got landing pages, you've got some different nuances, right? So kind of share a little bit.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. Sometimes I get an email back from someone and say, boy, that's old school. You're 20 years behind. I said, I've been doing it for 27. It seems to work pretty well. But I was never a big believer. Not only was I not a big believer, I bought the online leads when they first came out. I bought Yelp and wanted to strangle them on the phone after about a month of buying them. Yeah. And so I know what tire kickers are all about. Mm-hmm. And so it just makes sense to me that why not focus on people that own a home and that just listed it. And if you happen to get in front of them quickly with a mailer, by the way, a mailing piece is nothing but a conduit to getting people to go to your website, which is what they're going to do. It's guaranteed. I don't care if they're in their 90s now. I say, well, if they're older, they won't go there. Now they will. Everybody's got a computer. So the mailer is just a piece that comes in and says, check me out. And they're going to say, one moment, pal, I'm going to go to the website and I'm going to check you out, which is why, as you know, I've talked about it. I stress the website and how that's set up and how it's, you know, you have to set up to convert.
Yeah.
But that's it. So you send out a piece of mail and you can do a postcard, you can do a letter. The mail letter will always be the best. There's no question about that. A personal letter. I mean, here in Atlanta, if it was over $1 million, I was always sending a letter with a real stamp and I had my wife actually handwriting because my handwriting is so bad. I mean, it's terrible. So, but they would open it And I'd get these calls and it'd say, hey, I got this wonderful letter from you, sir. Are you Mr. Sheppard? Yeah. Well, you're going to come out. And I said, I know what home I'm visiting because you got my letter. You are in a 1 million plus home. And in the Atlanta area, that you can get buy a big house for that. Not so much California, but here that's a big home. And the big home means there's more stuff there. It means you'll make more commission. That's all it was. So the mailing is our list service provides movers with a way to connect to these people that just listed or just went under contract. And so it does both. If it was listed yesterday, we know about today. If it went under contract yesterday, we know about today. You don't have to send a different mailer. Some people are more ready to make a decision when it goes under contract. But we're seeing now homes are, I mean, they're listed on Monday and they're under contract on Friday. Don't waste any time getting that new listing mailer out there because they go so quick now. And that's this particular year. Even with COVID, it's been insane. Because the interest rates are low. So it was a better alternative because when someone calls you, if you're mailing to 4-bedroom and 5-bedroom homes all day, well, when people call you, you know what you got. You've got a nice home and people that are quality people and that have a realtor that can refer to you as well, which is the bonus.
That's a byproduct. Yeah.
In our system now, you can do mailing in 1 minute. You can put the variable data, which is their name, and there you could say, hi, Chris Jones. We love moving people from Denver, Colorado, whatever. Nerds, you can pull in some of their information from the list and it can automatically populate the area of your card. So it becomes now very personalized. And then we have landing pages to go with it, which is a little deeper, but they can actually go to their own personal landing page. And maybe it can be for a mailer that you just want to have a survey done and give them a free Starbucks card for filling out a survey, but it'll have their name. So it's trackable. So now mailing is trackable.
Yeah. And that's where it's, you had mentioned, oh, you're doing direct mail. Like that was 20 years ago. It's like, because I was actually reading an article the other day and it was saying something along the lines of everything that was outdated 10 years ago is now coming back in full surge because there was so much of the online stuff between, 2000 or 2005 to 2015. It just saturated.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in social media though. I'm not, in fact, we have a social media program, but you got to do both. It gets you in the door. And I think it's just so simple. When I analyze my business, and I can just say after 20 some years, I can look there and say, where does my money come from? Okay. I can chase around people like the online lead providers and fight with 7 other movers for the same lead. You better get to them within 3.4 seconds. They'll all tell you because the other guy's got them on the line. He's not letting them go. Half of them are illegal. They're not even licensed movers most of the cases. But the only one that's going to win there is the one with the low price. And the low price guy never wins. In fact, he always loses. He'll usually be out of business. So it made more sense to send something to them and then generate an interaction to something more professional. But the other side of it is when you send a mailer, people just assume that you knew the real estate agent or something. And especially when it gets there quick, and I say, well, I just kind of, we kind of have our ways of knowing people, whatever. But it makes the assumption is you must have your act together. I mean, they assume you have your act together. Oh, that's a good start to begin with. And it always helps in the sale. Anything that can help a sale. Hey, what they say, to have authority and have empathy, but what it does, it builds authority to say you have the ability to pull this off. You've been around a while. So helps a new mover immensely.
Absolutely. And let's talk about, one response rate. Like what can somebody see out of doing this, whether they're doing it with USA Home Listing or whatever, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
If somebody's looking at direct mail marketing for their moving company, what could they expect for response rate? And then,
I can tell you, more importantly, I'll tell you ROI. That cuts it all right to they say it cuts it to the chase. That's all that matters. If you spend $1, how much are you going to get back? I don't care if it's 1%. If you spend $1 and you get 40 back, whoa, I want to do that all day, every day. Yeah, step it up, right? If you spend $1 and get $1 back, you're in trouble because you just waste all your time to make no money. generally speaking, the ROI on our system, if you ask any mover that does it correctly, but I'll say this, I'm going to do a caveat, that has their website dialed in correctly. And I love to coach on that because I can really tell people how to develop a tagline properly. So when someone goes to the website, they don't see Texas's best moving company. Really? No one can say that? Why not say where you're at and why they should choose you, like serving Metro Dallas and treating you like our own family with guaranteed pricing. I'll call that guy all day.
Yeah.
So I'm segueing here a little bit.
Sure.
But the ROI is all that matters. And we have movers, most of them are getting at least 20 to 40, even higher ROI. I have some that are getting literally about 80 to $1 spend, which is insane.
Wow.
So, but remember, I was what, 1.5 million a year. So whatever that comes to, 30,000 a week. And I'm telling you, I did not spend that much money. I really didn't. But I had a good presentation. We talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
When I walked into a home, I had that dialed in as well. So when people want to talk about return, the return also, the ROI goes along with how's your website?
Mm-hmm.
You have a presentation when you walk in.
Mm-hmm.
Do you say the right things when you walk in?
Mm-hmm.
Do you sit down and take notes? Do you try to save money? We'll go into that in a minute.
Yeah.
And that's all part of it. So, and I was always pretty much, I won't say always, but I'll tell you, most of the time I'm the highest priced guy in town.
Yeah.
Not always the very highest, but boy, I was up there, but I gave a guaranteed price.
Yeah.
And so movers like that.
That's a really, I'm big on, and what we're going to jump into is sales, maybe the sales process part of this a little bit, but, and I coach a lot of my clients on that because I try to put the hat of the customer on and think,
of course,
right? That's 101. And customers want a fair, reasonable price, and they want it to be guaranteed honest. They don't want you to change what you said.
Right. Nobody wants
So
to.
we're saying when someone gets a bid and then the company comes back, it's like, oh, we messed our numbers up. It's actually this much.
It doesn't fly.
Whoa. What? And so let's talk about the website part for a moment.
Okay.
That's a huge part.
Huge.
What are some things, very easy things that you can make adjustments to make that more optimized?
The first thing we have to all remember, I've read enough books, watched enough online, read enough, as you know, I'm a Story Brand fan with Don Miller. He's just wonderful. People scan things nowadays. They don't sit there and study every little word. You may think the words are important, but I'll tell you, they're not as important as you'd think.
Mm-hmm.
And we all want to make decisions quickly. So we go to a website and we first look. There's 4 things that happen when someone goes to a website. This is a fact. Number 1, what are you selling? Number 2, not always, but somewhat important in there is how much.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 and 4 are the most important. What's in it for me? And number 4, why should I choose you? Mm-hmm. If you can settle the what's in it for me and why should I choose you, you'll get the call and you'll get the business, at least have a shot at it.
Yeah.
Most website owners think that the more they talk about themselves, for instance, the better off they are. Nothing could be further from the truth. Even on an about page, like our about page, it's not about me, it's about helping you. And so the first thing is the tagline. And there it is. What do you do? Yeah. Well, with USA Home Listings, it's more of a what I call a very bland product, but it works. But it says connecting movers with homeowners that just listed their homes. Now, if you were never in my industry, you'd say, "Oh, I kind of get that." And the second part was new and under contract listings, fresh daily with homeowners' names. So within 2 sentences, you know what we do. Mm-hmm. Get started. Click here, click here, click here. That's it. Just give them 3 options.
Yeah.
So part of it is what they call above the fold. So as you stare at your screen, without scrolling one bit, that's what's called above the fold. And it's important to have that message right there. And then in the background, to have an image that matches the success that the people will get if they use your service. Right. So why do you think I like happy, smiley faces with regular family people? Yeah. A stock photo is good, but if you can get a real one, oh my word. Yeah. I'm not going to say just print money, but people say, hey, I kind of like that guy. I just got sent, by the way, I promise not to veer off. Had a client call me and then He said, Greg, let me show you what I did for my postcard. I about lost it. I said, put that on the front of your website. What was his father? He just seemed like, you just look at the picture and go, well, that guy's, you got to like that guy. There's some people that have that look, right?
Yeah.
His dad just said, he was posing. Hopefully you remember this, but he was just posing with a field in the background. And you're like, well, I trust him. I trust him. Yeah. And I said, just put, I'll treat you like I do my own or something, whatever. It doesn't matter. But the point was, it was a very trusting picture, but it wasn't a picture of the truck. A lot of movers like to show their trucks, and some show trucks they shouldn't be showing.
Right.
And don't put in the U-Haul. Don't do that. No. Say, why should someone choose you? Which is the reason I always go back, and I'm going to give Don Miller again the credit for this. He's got a part of one of his tools, which I prominently talk about all the time, is called 5-Minute Marketing Makeover. And if you go to 5minutemaketingmakeover.com, whether you use the number 5 or just FIVE, it'll give you a series of 3 emails that will change 3 5-minute videos, 15 minutes, and you're going to get a world-class education on why people choose and why they don't choose your product. Yeah. So hopefully they can hear that, and we'll write it down in notes. But I'm telling you, it changed me forever. So that's where were we? I'm sorry, I got carried away here.
No,
website.
We're
what can you do? Tagline, good picture in the background. Yeah. Tagline. Why should someone choose you?
And I get, and you're exactly right. I get why a company owner would want to put, they just bought that brand new truck. Yeah. They're like, oh, perfect. Let's put the picture of the truck on there, and they get it wrapped. Sure. I get it. Yeah. That's your largest expense and investment piece.
Yeah. It's a good looking asset. I'll say that you can use it. I just don't think it's the number one thing to talk about.
Yeah. And sometimes it's getting a little more simple and just something that's.
Well, 20,000 homes, people are going to always want to know the same thing. If I choose you, is this going to go right, pal? Because that's my number one concern. I had 500 phone calls this week from the bank and the mortgage people and the people that are beating me up on my price or beating us up on fixing the house. And the new house is being built. It's sinking. It's and it goes on forever. And then you walk in as a mover, and they're stressed. They're up out of their mind. That's why a lot of movers will put a stress-free move. I mean, I see that a lot as a tagline, although it's kind of generic. I think you could twist it. Yeah. I mean, I think you could add to it by saying a stress-free move with no hidden charges, no surprise fees, and no nonsense on move day. That's our guarantee. That's what I would do if I put that in there. So somebody can steal that right now. But they're out of their minds, and then they're thinking, well, I don't know you. The only thing I've heard about moving is what? This could be the worst thing that we've ever done in our life. Mm-hmm. I don't know why that is. A few bad apples, right? Because most movers are pretty good. Mm-hmm. But there's this aura of movers being like, I don't know, these people that are nefarious characters that we're not sure of what they're going to do. Mm-hmm. And your job is to relieve that. And your job is to relieve that in certain sentences without them even knowing that you're saying it, knowing that's relieving them, right? Which is part of the stop winging it game with me.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, it's fun.
So now, we get an opportunity to get on the phone with the customer. We've done our marketing. That's the goal of the right? The goal of the marketing is to be able to get an opportunity.
Number one, get
an opportunity. Now we're in an opportunity in the home.
Yeah.
Tell me about what would you be saying and doing right when you walk in the door? What's
got the answer? I've got the answer on this. Whether you're on the phone, whether you're in a home, the number one thing you can do to build value and to be trusted is why not ask them why they're moving? So I would do it this way. Thanks for having me. Hey, by the way, even on the phone, you can say this. Why are you moving? What's going on? What's happening? Yeah. And then off they go telling you there's about 6 or 7 reasons, and I can name them all. Mm-hmm. We're retiring. We're going near the grandkids. Mm-hmm. Or let's see, you're a couple. We're moving up, going to better schools, getting a bigger house, or moving to a new location in Kansas City for a new job, whatever. And there's one that's not good as divorce, but there's a way to handle that. Yeah. But for the first 6 are pretty good. Mm-hmm. And then whatever they say, you let them go because they're going to go. You say, thank you. Congratulations. I'm happy for you. It's just three things.
Wow.
Or congratulations. That's awesome. I'm happy for you. Sounds like you're going where you should be.
Yeah.
So the first thing I did to set rapport was to say, well, I'm interested in you as a person. Why are you moving? What's going on with your family?
Yeah.
So I said, I want to be interested in your move, not be interesting. I want to show that I care, because nobody cares what you know. They want to know that you care.
Yeah.
And then right after that, I would say, well, let's go sit down. I take a lot of notes. And I do that because I don't want any surprises on move day. Neither do my guys. They'd come back on me. They wouldn't like that.
Yeah.
And let me see if I can save you some, and let me see if I can show you ways to save some money and some time and aggravation.
Yeah.
So within 30 seconds, or however long it took them to talk, because they will go on. You'd be surprised. Some people go on for 5 minutes, say about everything about what they're doing, and you're not allowed to say one word.
Yeah.
If they're saying they're moving to Hilton Head, that's been a dream of theirs all life, and they want to go on for 10 minutes, don't say it. Just let it go.
Let it go.
And then you say, I always doing a little bit of humor. The people were married for, I knew you could tell the husband and wife are there. They've been married for 50 years. So, I would interject, of course, a little maybe humor and say, look at him and I look at her and I'd say to her, hey, well, why him? You're still taking him after 40 some years. Is there a reason you're keeping him? And it cuts all the pressure off.
Yeah.
So when I was done, I was never selling, never.
Yeah.
And then I got people that said, you're a good salesman. I said, oh, don't say that. No. I'd rather be a consultant than actually help.
Yeah.
Not that it hurt me. I was just connecting. It's about a connection. Yeah. And so I didn't treat people like they were my next paycheck. And when you start asking questions, have you had anybody else out? Okay. Are you packing? Are we packing? Well, and you start getting into without even sitting down first.
Yeah.
You basically said you don't care because you never asked them why they're moving. So the number one thing, why are you moving? What's going on? That's it. Yeah. I promise anybody in America that hears this, I don't care what you sell. Just say that.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what industry.
No, it doesn't. I got an interesting, by the way, and I promise this, I won't go off on this, but they came out to do our garage floors guy, nice guy. And he gave this presentation. It was kind of stapled together, but at least he gave a shot. Yeah. And we ended up going with him. And it was where you get your garage floors with that special epoxy coating and all that stuff. Yeah, it's ridiculous to do that, but I did. Anyway, so I said, do me a favor. This young kid, I said, how long have you been in sales? I just started. I said, do me a favor. On your next appointment, I want you to walk in. I know it seems odd to say this, but you're going to ask the next person, whatever his name is, hey, why are you getting your floors done? Why do you want to get your floors done? What's going on? He called me an hour and a half later, 2 hours later. I won't forget it. This young kid. He says, Mr. Sheppard, it really worked. It worked. You know what the guy said? He says, I'm getting floors because I'm getting my wife a new car for her birthday. And there's no way I was going to bring that car into this nasty looking floor.
Wow.
And then he said to him, you're the first one ever even asked me why. Because why would you get a floor?
Yeah.
It is kind of weird. I mean, right? Like we got it because we painted the house and then went out to the garage and said, okay, fix all that. Okay, now I'm looking at my floors like, well, that looks dumb. But, and resale value, part of it was resale. So when we sell someday, they're going to walk in and go, oh, this is beautiful. But the point was, he says, it worked. I said, it works for everybody because you cared about him. And he goes, I booked the job. I said, well, congratulations. So that was kind of cool. Just kind of cool. Yeah, just kind of fun.
And it's so funny.
Just people.
You sharing that story is so awesome, Greg, because you know what? We help people with these kind of things. We say, just try it. Trust me. Try it.
Just do it. It works.
And then they come back and they're like bewildered. They're like, oh my gosh. Like it's something different, but it's been the same thing forever. Is just caring about the person you're sitting.
The things in life the best things are free. Yeah. The best things are free. People want to buy from people they like and they trust. And they're certainly not going to buy from someone they don't. And I'll guarantee you this, they will pay a lot more for the one that they do.
Absolutely. And
they have or they'll come back and say, hey, Greg, your price is a little high, not a little bit, like a lot. Can you kind of meet me in the middle, Bubba? Can you come somewhere in between? Mm-hmm. Like, of course. So, but you can get there because you treated them like someone who cared. Remember, I think, did I tell you about the emails I used to write?
Yeah, we're talking about the.
So I'd email a quote, and at the bottom, I'd always write something. I go out to my car, and if there was one significant event in their life, whatever it may be. It doesn't matter whether the kid's got accepted into Stanford MBA school, or I don't know, getting the home of their dreams, or something that happened really good in their life.
Yeah.
Then in my email would be at the bottom, P.S. Congratulations, basically, on that event. You must be very happy and very proud, or whatever it may be, with a smiley face. And I'm telling you, it's just stuff like that that said, well, I like this guy, but it's funny, when I did that, I would get confirmation emails back, we're moving with you in like 5 minutes. I'd look at my watch and go, here it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we discussed it. You discussed it. You discussed it between your cracker and your first cup of soup. Or I don't know. You did it so quick. They get back so fast. You just sit there and laugh and go, oh my God, it really, they were just waiting to say yes. Give me a reason to say yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting. So
yeah,
as a salesman, I'm the worst buyer in the world. I want the guy to make commission.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I love, it's so funny being, being a sales professional. And then when you're on the other side of it, I
want the guy to do well. I'm rooting for him.
Yeah. It's funny. I was at what were we were eating Mexican last night, right? And then sitting there, and me and my girlfriend, we were sitting there talking, and the waiter came by, and after a while we got our food and we ate, and the waiter came back, and I love to just start chatting with them. So what are you doing? How long you been working here, and asking them about them.
Yeah.
It's so funny. He had great people skills. He pushed so hard on a dessert for me because he knew I was kind of playing with them, and I just love doing that stuff. I love kind of sometimes not testing, but just a little poke. And
I think people enjoy it. It's called life. Well,
yeah.
There's another thing too, when you're walking into these homes that, you see on your list, these aren't people that are scraping by. I don't care where you are in the country. If you have $1 million plus home, you were qualified to get that, period. Yeah. Even 700, 800,000, whatever. You got there because you're smart. You're not stupid. So don't treat them any differently than that.
So true.
And so everybody just wants to be treated fairly, and they want to know that someone's going to be there for them. I don't care. It doesn't matter what profession, and nobody buys the cheapest thing. Oh, I never talked about price. I never talked about the other guy. My fence that I look out back, that he was not the cheap. In fact, he was about 12% higher, but I trusted him, worked out well. Painting, definitely not the cheapest in my house, but did the most phenomenal job, referred him to a lot of people. So I don't think everybody's, well, actually it's number 7. Price is actually number 7 on the list of 1 through 20 of why people buy. The price is actually number 7. Yeah. And Jeffrey Gitomer, I talk about that. He's probably the greatest sales trainer in the world. Anybody gets his little red sales Bible book, it's $13. Just do one of his things and it'll change you.
Absolutely.
So anyway,
talk about a little bit. You were discussing with me a little bit before the call about what you're taking in the home with you when you do that presentation.
Oh yeah.
Leaving something behind. Talk about that part, because
I'm actually shocked. Well, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm shocked when I talk to independent movers. All the van lines have a packet of information when you open it up. It's an 8.5 by 11 with sheets on the left and sheets on the right, and a place for your business card where there's a cutout. But I am shocked at how many movers I talk to that just go out and give a business card, and I can't believe it. I just like, wait a minute here, hold on. That entire folder at gotprint.com, you can go online. If you buy 1,000 or more, you're looking at 73 cents a piece. Yeah, that's it. So you spend all that time and effort to get to somebody's home, and you got to spend the extra 73 cents. Sorry, maybe with shipping it'll be 83 cents. Point is, by the time you put paper in there, it's $1 to impress somebody. That's it. On the front side, your logo, your phone number, and your website. You don't need much more than that. That's fine. They get it. You're there. On the back side, you get, if you want to do backside, you get that for free. I put my face on there with my cell phone and my email, and saying, I'm here, and I want you to know that I'm available whenever you call. Now, people aren't going to call you at 10 o'clock at night. They won't do that. Right. But I'd say, you can always call me. I said, you can. It doesn't mean I'm going to pick up. I said, you can always call me. I'm making myself accessible. Yeah. On the inside, testimonials. I'd have 15 to 18 pages of testimonials, which I've shared with some movers. Let's say, how'd you get so many? I said, well, I asked them to fill out a survey, and I'd give them a free Starbucks card. Yeah. 2 questions, 15 seconds. Then when they come back, they come back and they write that long thing and say, oh, we love your company. I go back and say, hey, thank you for that wonderful set of words that you put down on an email. By the way, I Googled beautiful people in whatever town they're in, and I found you. I couldn't believe it. In parentheses, okay, I'm just joking, but I think you're awesome. If you wouldn't mind sending me a picture of your beautiful face or your partners or your kids or a dog, I'll give you a second Starbucks card for free. In fact, I might throw in a free latte. I'd put that in an email. Yeah. Oh, no problem. Next thing you know, everybody thinks, oh, that doesn't mean much. Wait a minute. When you do that and get 20 of them, you put them on a page and you have people's faces, and you can tell they're real, not fake or stock. Then you have their words, and you can't make up all those words. Yeah. I put video obviously on USA Home Listings because it's their words. It's not mine. I didn't say it. Yeah. It makes a big difference. Mm-hmm. And then when you go into a home, I have a cover letter that says, hey, basically, I'm Greg and I take this serious. And these are just a few testimonials. And it'll be 15 pages of testimonials of people's faces. And on the right side of the packet, just helpful information. All helpful. No legal jargon and all that. Save that for when they book. Yeah. Don't scare them with all the bad, what I call insurance things and all that. Don't get them all caught up into that. Just be helpful. Yeah. Helpful hints. And then when you get a beautiful survey that comes back from a client, not only can you put in your website, you put in your packet, you go to the realtor that listed their home, and you put in subject line the customer's name. Mm-hmm. And it's a 3-sentence or 3-paragraph, I guess you would say, email to the realtor. Mm-hmm. And say, dear realtor, I recently moved your clients, comma, Joe and Mary Smith. Yeah. And wanted you to know what they said about us. Put in the exact quotes of what they said. The third paragraph said, if you wouldn't mind, and if you would allow us permission to send you a packet of our information in case you know of someone that may be moving in the future. Yeah. Best regards. They'll read it within 2 seconds because you didn't bog them down with a bunch of stuff about how great you were. Your client said it. And they would get back within, I had open rates of 20 to 40 seconds. Is like average is crazy. Yeah. But in the subject line, you put the customer's name. Yeah. And that's just smart because they're thinking they're probably going to get a referral. They're wondering, wait, what's this about? Either good or bad, but I got to open that baby. Yeah. Because they get bombarded with and it gets to the email spam filters. Because if you try to go after a realtor with just like, hey, can you help us? They get that 50 times a week and they'll be spammed out anyway. It won't even matter. Yeah. Keller Williams, Coldwell Banker, and all them, they're tough now. But it's not even the right way to do business. Why should you ask for somebody unless you showed them proof that you are worthy of being referred to? You're saying kind of work backwards, right? Work backwards. You service the customer and then work your way back up the trail. Absolutely. Who they're using. Correct. But I would go out to the house and I'd get it I wouldn't have to even look. You could go back and look. Yeah. You do. Now, this is granted, I always was doing in-home estimates. So if you're not, you can always look online too. It takes about 1 second. Put in any address and you can see who listed the home. And you email them, find their email them, put in the subject line the customer's name, and then put those 3 sentences. We recently moved your clients, and this is what they had to say. Next paragraph is word for word. I don't care what they said. Quote it. Mm-hmm. Third one is, and this is important, would you give us permission to send you a packet of our information? Yeah. You're being polite and asking, because to just get bombarded with people, they get hit a lot every week with people saying, can you help me? Can you help me? I'm a painter. I'm a deck guy and all that. Yeah. And so you said, I'm asking permission. If you say no, I won't send it. And I actually had one person of all the times. One said, no, I'm good. They already had a mover they were giving business to. Okay, that's fair. Yeah. So I didn't send it. But for the most part, they get back quick. And they think that your client is the one that gave them their name, so they kind of have to get back. I'm not being mean. I'm not being untoward in that approach. It's a nice approach, and it's an approach that says, hey, we're a good moving company, but this is what your client had to say. And it seemed to work well. And next thing you know, the next day you're getting calls from the call would come in. How did you hear of us? Well, I heard of it from my realtor, and then here it comes. But actually it was my realtor that is a realtor with someone in their office that they sent an email that one of your clients, I got it. Oh. And they put to next day, just like that. Incredible. Yeah. And how much does that cost? Zero. Nothing. It's free. I love free. So it's just a good way to get to realtors one at a time.
And that's the kind of stuff that I really promote, and I love talking about, because I think with the industry, it's so, especially the last, so many years, everyone's looking for this home run turnkey. You know what I'm talking about? This home run turnkey, do it all for me marketing system. And it's like, well, there are some things that you do that you pay some money, and it kind of, once you get it up and running, it rolls. But there are some things that are different, and they're more, they take your brain. They take thinking about the customer. And, I think the people that take the time to do those things are the ones that win.
Yeah. Focus on the customer first. Take yourself out. Yeah. I made a really impactful decision to myself after the 2007, 2008 debacle with the economy, and things went down. I was like, why am I doing this anymore? I don't want to do this. I wasn't happy. And I finally said, if I'm going to stay in this business, I'll never forget, it was really a mental decision, that I'm going to have fun from this point forward. I'm going to have a good time. I'm actually going to have a riot. I'm going to go out there and I'm just going to have fun, because if I don't, I'm out. I'm done. Yeah. And it was that point that things really took off like insane. And I got to a point where I was seeing people that were only like 5-10 miles away, and my average sale was over $3,500 in a local. And it just was the connections that were being made, because I never treated people like they were a sale. I treat it as if I don't need it. I'm just here to help. I'm going to do my best I'm going to help you, and I'm going to help you some more. I'm going to have fun while I'm here helping you. Yeah. And it took the pressure off internally. Yeah. And it takes it off of them, and people can read that. Yeah. And no complaints, and if anything went wrong, they never blamed me for it. And those little things, guys maybe they'd fall, they'd break the desk, but they would never be like, well, this experience is awful. No, they broke the desk. Come on, we know. And that's another thing, that movers, you can get through that and say, we'll take care of it. Good, thank you. It's all we want. We know we're not expecting to be perfect. Yeah. You're moving wood. Yeah. With oblong shapes into a square hole. I tell people, do you know how impossible it is to do that? Yeah. If you watch the guys, you'll be impressed. And so I would set up conversation to say, yeah, some things can happen, but we're going to be there for you if it does. And they go, I can accept that. I agree.
That's what people want. They want someone that's going to be responsible. They want someone that's not going to avoid the phone call or the text message after the move. Right. And they never hear from them again. And but I don't want to forget about this part. So you talked just now about being happy. Like, I just want to go out and have fun.
Number one thing.
I really have had to make a focus for that for me in my life, probably the last 6 months or so. And, I think that's something that nobody's really talking about a ton. I know you talk about it, but
I've read enough books on it.
Yeah. And, you have this industry where it can be a very consuming lifestyle, right? Especially during our peak 6-month period where we're going.
Oh, it's hard.
It's go. You've got crews going out every day, trucks, something happens with the truck, a guy doesn't show up, this and that. And what are some keys for these moving company owners when they're in those dark times, when it's like, man, there's not a whole lot to be had for fun?
What are you reading there? What do you read? I'd say, show me the last book that you read. Now, Kindle's wonderful. It's in my phone. I can go like this, receiving it. And I got Kindle. Yeah. And I do all the positive stuff. That's just me. And I manifest, I believe in the law of attraction, that you will bring to yourself what you put out. That's why this election process is, heck, I can't think of a worse thing to be looking at than that right now, of all things. But anything that's positive and uplifting. I think, I showed you what's behind me here on the wall. Yeah. I had a stencil that was made, and it's the first thing right in the middle. It says, think, create, aspire, visualize. On my left side, create something new, and priorities, and surround your environment with that kind of stuff. And then people will become advocates for you. Jeffrey Gitomer, I think I mentioned him earlier. Yeah. He has a book called, let me think, I'm going to say if I say it correctly. Satisfaction is worthless. And then he puts in parentheses, but customer loyalty is priceless. It's a wonderful book. And what he really says is, satisfaction will never get that person to talk about you again. But a loyal customer that says you're always on my side and always wanted to help will absolutely tell everybody, you're moving. What? You're moving up? Call Greg. You're moving. You got some concern? Call Winston. Just call Winston. Stop. Don't talk to me anymore. Just call. And that's what we all want. We want advocates. And that starts with what is inside your brain and the energy that you're giving out.
Yeah.
And when you go out to a home, I will honestly say 100%, I had that completely wrong when I first started this business. There is no question. I came from a business that was all about closing, the closing tactics. If I say this, you say this. Oh yeah. Well, what if I can do this and that kind of stuff? And it was very different than it is now, where now, why not actually give value first? But I was getting my butt kicked by this younger kid that was and he wasn't a kid, he was maybe a few years younger than me. And he was just killing it. And I finally asked him, I said, what are you doing, man? And he just says, well, I try to go out there and help people. And I could tell it really came from his heart. You could see it. And then I watched him do it. I'm like, oh my word. And that's what it's all about. Just if you help people, they'll be glad to give you their money. Yeah. But they're not going to give it to the guy that is treating them like their next paycheck. Yeah. Yeah. But that's sales. So I'm getting off on the sales things, but it's what do you put in here all day? If you saw the other side of my desk, you'd see about 30 books got to build in. And I probably have over 300 or 400 books on positive. That's all I read is that positive stuff in business and who are the leaders out there that do this or that, and try to always keep it. I on vacation, I started again now listening with audio. The library had a free one on Damon John. Didn't know how smart he was. Holy mackerel. Yeah. And the guy from the Shark Tank. Yep. Oh, he's so street smart. It's not even funny. I could go on for 10 minutes about that, but I was listening to this going, oh, this guy's brilliant. No wonder why he made all this money. And so it's what's going on in your brain. Yeah. And of course,
it's funny the people that think that it's just like, Houdini magic, stuff like that. And, or the folks that, they see someone that's successful, wealthy individual, and they think that they just got plopped there, that they just got they drew the right straw out of the batch.
And everybody knows that's not the truth.
It's not.
You ever notice those people, every once in a while you come across somebody that's real successful in life and you like them because they'll ask how your kids are doing. And the person will say, hey, Greg, how your kids doing? And you walk away and you go, God, no wonder why he's successful. Geez, oh, Pete, it's so odd. And he's got 5,000 friends. Yeah. Everybody like, why? It's because he put you first. Yeah. He put you first. He put himself second. Mm-hmm. And there's just certain people, and I'm not going to mention names, but there's people in our life that are like that. You're like, well, no wonder why he's so successful. I hope he makes $1 billion. Yeah. Because he or she, the way we have neighbors, and I want to say names, but she's so wonderful. She's like a saint. Yeah. And just like, there's just certain people that are like that from their soul, like they're born that way, like just good people. Those are my heroes. Literally. Like, how do you do that? Because I get angry at this, like the political stuff. You start getting, intense. Yeah. But I know I'm getting carried away here. Of course, so me, I talk about everything.
It's so good. So let's talk about. I know what I want to wrap up with. So I want to talk about what are for moving company owners, because we're talking about the sales and the marketing stuff, and that's really right. We probably that's our realm. Let's say you've got someone that's like, well, they feel like they're proficient at that part, but they feel like they're getting pulled down on the operations side. They're having the hard time with, I guess, can't keep the right guys, or they don't perform. Like I'm saying XYZ with the customer when I do the estimate, and I'm guaranteeing this type of quality, and then it doesn't happen, and they're on that revolving roller coaster. What do you say for that owner? Because there's a lot of people in that boat that they understand how to get the leads and how to get them on the phone, but the execution's not happening. What do you?
Well, I think for a mover, it's interesting because I can only come from the sales side, but it's the same thing. When I got involved in this business, and even before that business, I always looked at myself as an independent owner, even though I wasn't. I always looked at myself like, well, if it's going to be, it's got to be me, all those positive things, but it's the truth.
Mhm.
So if I want to be successful in what I'm doing, it's got to be up to me to learn and grow.
Mhm.
And I think growing is the hardest thing because it takes time
Mhm.
and it takes patience. But if you end your day or begin your day with 15 minutes of anything good, you're supposed to go to sleep like I do by reading 15 minutes of goodness. And by the way, and then read from your phone, you'll naturally go out anyway. Like it's hard to stay awake. Good. But it's the good thoughts that you put in. And I think that manifests into, especially with employees, they say, where did I read this? When someone asks you, say, they want to come work for you, what the employer's number one thing should be is, what's a win for you? If you don't know that answer, it's a problem, because a win might be just being able to get by, or maybe, well, a win for me, I got to make 30,000 a month. And wait a minute, guy, I can't pay you that. You get that out in the open. What is a win? You don't know what the win is. Ask the people, so you set them up for success.
Yeah.
What is a win? What is it? What will that be? Well, I want to be able to come in here and I want to be able to take my kid at 5 o'clock, or pick my child up at daycare and get home. And I don't mind doing an extra hour of work, but at 5, I got to leave, whatever it may be. Sure. I think you can set yourself up for disaster if it goes as it goes along.
Yeah.
Ask them, what is a
proper
win?
Expectations.
Yeah.
Proper
Let them know. And then you can say, especially about hiring, their expectation may be like, well, that ain't going to happen. Well, good. Then you know that it's not realistic,
Right.
Or it could be way under. Maybe they just want to be supported.
Yeah.
I've read so many books. You know what most people actually work for? They say the happiness scale. You're not any happier if you make, most people that make over 75,000, they don't get any happier when they go beyond that. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's true or not, whether that number has changed, but whatever. But there's a point where you're not actually any happier. And I found that interesting, that it all comes with what's up in your brain. Where do you want to grow? And a win for somebody could be different, but what people work for is just a pat on the back. You'd be surprised that most people just want to be.
And it's not always that. It's not
the money. No, motivation comes.
That's the biggest misconception. It's like, to get good people. Yeah. For me to get good people, I need to pay more money. And I'm like, no, not necessarily, because that's at Move Up. That's one of our major things, is we help people with hiring, recruiting, retention, whatever. And Move Up. I tell people, I'm like, hey, when you have them, do their onboarding, you hire somebody, you bring them over, why don't have a sheet and have them fill out stuff about their favorite food, their favorite sports teams, their favorite things to do, and learn about your people. And if you know that, one of your employees, their favorite sports team is playing that night or something, then you can have a connection with your people.
You can buy a $15 mug and just make their day. Just like, oh my God, he thought. It's the thoughtful part.
And it's the same stuff that you're doing on the sales side. The same stuff that you're doing from B to C, you're doing with your people. And it's all the same mindset, right? And so let's talk about mentality for a second. Yeah. So, because the other thing with the business too is that sometimes, like, you go year to year to year, and because it goes in cycles, it can sometimes, I see, really drain owners. Yeah. And they're questioning in the back of their mind. They've maybe been in the business for a while, and now they're wondering, and they've kind of hit that sticking point.
I've seen it.
And they're kind of just sitting there wondering, what else is there?
Yeah.
What's next?
I read the post, I see it, because they'll put it out there. Yeah.
So what about, from a mentality standpoint, when it gets dry and it just seems like it's the same, it's like, man, our income's been in the same place. Our business performance is stagnant.
I've been there. Who hasn't? Yeah. I mean, you're young, but as you get older, you start to reflect. You just have more time to look this way. Oh, let me look back a little bit. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting. It's what you feed your brain with on a daily basis. I took a class with Bob Proctor, my mentor, if you ever heard of him, but just Google him. He's all over the world. And it was a particular course, paradigm shift, and changed me forever. And basically one of the tests was, do you think you can write? If I said this right now to people, because this is going to be funny, I'm right-handed. Do you think you can write with your left hand cursive? No, right? The answer is no, of course not. Okay. I'm telling you, when you first do it, your letters are about this big. It's hysterical. Like you try to write because your brain doesn't work backwards.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, in 30 days, your cursive handwriting on your left hand that you've never used will be better than your right, guaranteed. And it's like, oh, come on. So you start doing the first day, and it's hysterical. I mean, your letters are like, you try to write a paragraph, each letter is like this big, and then it shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. At the end of 30 days, you're like, you've got to be kidding me. And you just sit back and look. I still got the book that I did it for 30 days. And what it proved was this, that yes, we are capable of doing things that we never thought we were. If I told you 30 days ago that you could have really good looking handwriting with your opposite hand, the answer is like, no, because I did the first day and it's a joke. Do it for 30 days. Watch what happens. And I did it. And so it was a paradigm shift, right? It basically said, we have to get past what's called the terror barrier. That's just to do things that are uncomfortable, to do things you don't want to do. Because when you go through it, you realize, well, that wasn't so scary. That wasn't that hard. Yeah, and be willing to make mistakes, but they're not mistakes. It's called learning. Yeah. So I've always been the guy that want to raise my hand and say, well, that's cool. I want to learn. Not the guy that sends an email off and says, leave me alone. How'd you get a hold of me? Something derogatory or negative, because if you don't know something, it doesn't mean it's wrong. It means you probably don't know the whole story. Yeah. So I get every once in a while. It's okay. I want to say, well, my clients are beating you. so that's my revenge is just a little. Again, we're going to get whooped here, but that's okay. But yeah. It's fun. It's where your brain is. That's a whole nother, that's a subject I can go on.
That seems like the theme, right? And I love that I love that you've talked about that multiple times now for your responses, because that really is the key. Like the key is winning the battle inside of yourself. A lot of times, I think, we all have these doubts.
It's right in between here.
Yeah.
Everybody likes the election. There's funny just yesterday. I don't know. I just said, I don't think all these negative memes are very good. I think they're terrible for America. How can you, do you have a wife or a daughter? How can you say that what Trump does or says, or I didn't know where it came from. Like, well, I said, I don't know what you're talking about, but I never took my cues from him. I took my cues from my father, who was married to my mother for 62 and a half years before he passed away and was a gentleman. That's who I took my cues from. Yeah. Who are you taking your cues from? So it's just kind of interesting that they're all wound up and there's full of hate. And I'm like, you've got a choice. You're living that way, but I won't. Yeah. Doesn't matter to me. No matter when this election finally gets over, hopefully soon, whatever way, just get it done so America can move on and say, okay, that's right. We all got to go to work again. Yeah. Just like we have for hundreds and hundreds of years. Come on. But anyway, that's just.
It's funny that you said that part there. And the book I read, there's a part in there that says, no man can steal your joy. And,
no, they're not allowed in.
Joy to me is you can find a lot of joy in, you can find joy in a lot of things, but the cool thing about our industry moving and people in our space is, that mentality. If you do feel like you're hitting bottom line and it's just getting dry and stagnant and you don't know if you want to do it anymore. The thing that I always find that's refreshing is, what's something I can do that just challenges. What's the next challenge? Whether I make more money or not, if I become a better person, if I become a better man, or if it's women, right? Either way, how can you challenge yourself to just be better? And inherently in the future, money will come from that.
You'll find an answer you weren't looking for. Like, oh my God, I never expected that. Yeah. Right. Business. I do it all. Right. That's where I used to bombard. Perfect example. Oh, I was so stupid, but that's okay. At least I admit to it. But I would bombard like realtors with an email, basically, aren't we great? Aren't we great? And aren't we great? That was the body of the letter email. And they're like, now I signed you up for spam. So then I thought, well, what is a better way? Because that way wasn't caring enough. It's like, here I am just trying to promote myself. And I would do a lot of them. And I'm like, all I did was get hate mail, or not hate email. but just, it wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
And once in a while you get lucky if it's a lot of work. And then, oh, wait a minute. How about if I just send them something? Now, this is what happened. You know, what we talked about earlier, but I would send an email to say, this is what your client said. But what was interesting, more importantly, is the next day I'm getting calls from the person, not to the realtor I sent to, but the one that sat next to her in the office.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. Like next day, I'm like, oh, that's how that works. Next thing you know, you got the whole office. Whoa. All from one caring email that said, would you mind if I just let you know about this, if I could send you? So I didn't expect that. And I tell movers, it's wild. It actually works. In fact, you'll get a call the next day, and it will not be from the realtor you sent. It'll be from someone sitting next to them in that office every single time. Of course,
crazy.
You've got to ask the inevitable question. How did you hear of us? I could go off on, by the way, can I just, now I'm going to say something I forgot. There's one subject to talk about.
Yeah.
Movers, pick up your phones. Oh, pick them up live. Do not ever, never, ever not pick up live. There's companies out there like Answer Connect. There's 100 of them, but they can answer your phone when the people are calling you, when they're ready to call you. It's not based on when you're available. It's based between their lunch hour and their coffee and go in the bathroom and their kids walking out the door. That's when they had that moment to call you. Pick it up if you can't get it picked up, because I see more movers that do this answering machine thing. And then they get called, like, and I'll test them. Yeah. 2 hours later. Hey, you left a message? Yeah, I left a message. Do you know what this is? You didn't even listen to it. You just called 2 hours later. They've already picked another mover. I mean, you'd be surprised. It shocks me. So if there's one thing I can say to movers, I'm begging, Ray, my arms open, please answer the phone. I don't care what you have to do. You'll make more money. Yeah. And I can say that from a mistake when I was doing my independent consulting for all those years, that I would come out of a home. I would have 2 emails, 2 text messages, and 3 phone calls to answer while I'm racing to Mac's house. I'm like, okay, how do I handle all this? Yeah. The problem is I was losing because nobody was answering the phone calls. So I'd miss those calls. Now you can sound stupid. You can pick up the phone and go, hey, you just called me? Right. That sounds brilliant. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is Mrs. Jones. I'm already booked with you. I just have one quick question. Oh, okay. And then you get caught on that call. So the sales call is the most important to answer when they call in. And here's the best part. These services are, some of them are $150 a month. You got to be kidding me. Yeah. That's all I paid. Let me patch you through to Greg. If he's not available, just leave a message. You get back to you. Oh, okay. And they assume that person was sitting in that office when they're in Portland, Oregon or Seattle, Washington. Right. Yeah. They don't care. No, live person answered. They just want to know, oh, somebody gonna call me? Okay, good. Yeah. So.
And those little things is just, and that's, I'm so glad you talked about that. I literally was talking to somebody, to a client yesterday, and they were talking about that. It's like, man, you know, like I have to go out and fix something on a job, or the guys didn't do something right. And then I come back and it's like, man, I just missed, 12 phone calls.
You lost, I'll tell you what, you lost 6 of them because those people, if it's a sales call on a postcard, they're going to the next person, you're out. The other thing is email signatures. Oh my word, you can make money on your email. People are like, what do you mean? Say, well, put a signature that actually links to your, Facebook page that shows your testimonials, that shows your video testimonials, possibly all the information that you have for you. And I see emails that aren't even constructed correctly. Put your picture of your face on it, please, because it works, because people connect when they see a picture. Yeah, we all do. You look at that. And so there's simple things like that. Oh, another one on email. Yeah. Don't put Joe Smith 124 at Yahoo. Joe, you got a company called Smith Moving. Put yourself at joe@joesmithmoving.com, please. So little things like how can you help?
Dollars you can count on your hand.
I sit there and go, it makes me crazy going, please. But emails are free. The hosting service that I use, literally, I pay the high end, $19.95, and you can have 50 million different emails if you want. Yeah. It doesn't cost anything. It's almost like it's a negligible cost. Yeah. So things like that, signature and answer that phone, the basics.
Those are those little things. Yeah. You mentioned this earlier, and it's the stuff that I get, excited about telling people and teaching people. And I'm like, hey, come over here.
It's free. It's free. You're like me.
This. And they're like, well, I've been seeing a lot of people talk about Google AdWords and
Yeah.
running Facebook ads. I'm like, I know that's exciting, but let's just come over here. Let's get the
basics first.
basic stuff. And,
it shows professionalism.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost that much to be professional.
Yeah.
And don't wing it. Tell people they want to, know what to say when they go into home, what to say when you sit down, where to sit. Do you even sit?
Mm.
Do you open the packet and talk about insurance? Do you discuss all those things?
Mm.
I could go into that forever about how to beat your competition and never even talk about them ever. Just set them up for failure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that being said,
let me we said about an hour. So
yeah, it's good.
About one more thing that I want to talk about, and this is kind of a broad thing, and and I've asked a couple people this that I've done the video interviews with, but with what's going on in society, I'll call it. We just had we're through this. We're in the middle of this election stuff. We're the economy, all these different factors.
Right.
For our moving companies, what are you foreseeing in the next 6 to 12 months for the industry market? What are you telling your clients, and what are you telling movers to expect?
I don't know if I tell them anything. I'd just keep getting better at yourself, which I think I've always tried to do. But you'll make or break whatever you want as long as you write down your goals. Most people don't write them down. I have a whole booklet sitting right to my left here on the desk. I never accomplished half of them, but I got half of them done. And so it's all a matter of, all you have to be, as the guy in Louisiana said to us when we got on that swamp boat. This is a funny story because it's true.
Okay.
He had a knife it was back here. I'm looking at the window. It's about this long.
Oh,
and no one's paying attention. I'm watching this guy, and he was Cajun, and I could tell he's funny. You could tell he's a character. And I'm listening to him. He keeps on talking, and people are jibber jabbering, not listening before we're going to go out and feed alligators out in the swamp. So he puts the knife down. He says, "Hey, folks, I don't care if you listen. I only have to be faster than one of you swimming." So, but what that meant was, I got into sales years ago because I said, when I went to Allied, they said, I said, "What do you do?" "We sell moves." "Oh, I don't understand. What does that mean?" "We go out and you meet people." "Oh, okay, I can do that." "Okay. Well, what do you do then?" "Well, you go out and assess how much this stuff they have." "Oh, okay. Is there a way to do that?" "Yeah, we do a cube sheet." "Okay, whatever that is."
Yeah.
I said, "How's pricing?" "Everybody's about the same." And I'll never forget, I sit there and go, "Everybody's really about the same price no matter what?" "Yeah." I said, "Put me in." Because I figured all I do is be better than the other people.
Yeah.
So the question is, it's inevitable. Do you want to be better than somebody else? Then follow the people that do well in this business. There's a lot of good ones out there that do a lot of good business.
Yeah.
And focus on them. I happened to chase down at one point the number one guy in the country and just say, "What did you do?"
Yeah.
That was it. There's a phone call. So it's like, why not just ask?
Yeah. So
what do you want out of life? But you have to ask those questions.
Mm.
So I forget where I was going with that, but you just have to be better than the other guy.
Yeah.
And never talk a disparaging word ever. Never, never, ever, never. Like with an exclamation mark, never. You can just say, "We have systems and processes and people in place to make sure this goes smoothly." If that guy doesn't say that, well, they're going to question whether he does or not.
Mm.
Remember when he asked about guaranteed pricing? People say, do you make more money in guaranteed pricing? I would say things like, "You've probably got other quotes." "Yeah." "Okay. Well, you probably got guaranteed pricing just like we're going to give you." And they say, "No, they give an estimate." And I would say, "Really? Why did he guarantee it? He saw what you had, right?" "Yeah." "Huh." So I make them think. I didn't say anything bad.
Yeah.
But we give a guaranteed price. I'm getting distracted here at the end.
No, this is so good.
But that's what it's about. It's about what do you want to be? I always want to be Greg, the guy they like and they refer to. Because you work a lot less hard. That's not the way to say it. Work as hard as having to dig every day. It's better to get a lot of referrals.
Yeah.
But that starts up here. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Well, Greg, I'm going to wrap this up, but man,
cool.
Thank you so much. This is awesome. We're going to have to do this. We'll have to
ideas are worth nothing without execution. I'm reading your sign.
Yeah.
I'm reading it behind you.
I know.
That's true.
And, no, that's really what I preach, because all these things we talk, I mean, Greg, oh my gosh, man, you said so many things. Like, I hope people have a notebook and they get to sit down. I know it's the middle of a work day, but like, go back and watch this and write down these things that Greg was talking about, because they work. He wouldn't be telling you them if they didn't work. And, do them, implement them. I'm not saying do everything at once, but do one thing and get great at it, and then
do the next
replicate. So, but Greg, what's the best way, if somebody wants to get connected with you, if they want to find out maybe about USA home listings, or maybe they just want to get on the phone with you, Greg, how somebody find you?
I'm going to make it real simple. My email, guess what it is? You get one guess. Greg at USAHomelistings.com, right? I don't make, not a Yahoo or Gmail, but Greg USA Home Listings. And then everybody gets a free trial. We have it all over the place. Everybody gets a free trial. You can get sample data now on our website. Just say, I'm in, I don't know, Memphis, Tennessee. Give me some sample data in my area. We have that as well. So wherever you click on our homepage, you get sample data. You can sign up for a free trial. You get a hold of us, and there's an 800 number you call and say, hey, have Greg call me. If I'm not having a calendar event, I always call back quick. But I try to help as much as I can. And as long as people are open and want to be helped, I'll be there to serve. I mean, that's
awesome.
It serves me to serve others. It just is so simple. And do the same. Everybody should do the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
It works. Yeah, it's a fun thing.
Absolutely.
So,
all right, folks. Well, we're going to sign off here. Greg, appreciate you sharing today. And I have a feeling maybe we'll do another one of these in person in the future.
There you go.
Maybe we'll switch it up. But again, everybody just go out and you know what? Just be happy with what you're doing. Have fun with it. That was a big takeaway, and train your brain.
Yeah.
So, all right, folks, we'll talk to you soon.